Hello guys, it's John here. Today we're doing another Beyblade ranking video. This time, I'll be ranking every single Diabolos. So there are 4 of them. This ranking is going to be, I don't want to say obvious, but there's some clear discrepancies here. So first up, number 4, Abyss Diabolos. Can we just get this one out of the way? So Sparking Diaboloses, or whatever you want to consider the plural to be, they're not good. They just aren't. I think Abyss is worse because, first of all, it's just boring. Like, okay, the Diablo ship is LR, has like the metal in the middle. That's cool. Okay, that's something. Abyss, boring, but it's unique. 1 stamina reused, who cares, but okay. The layer, it's really boring, but it's like, it's something. And then you have 5 Fusion Dash, that is, well, even if I wanted to give him the pass on 5 for whatever reason, Fusion Dash is just not there. That's just not right. You should not be giving Diablos Fusion Dash. This is such an L of a bay. It looks decent. I think in appearance it's okay. But as a bay, it's just not good at all. It just isn't. Like there's just nothing redeeming about this thing. I guess you could say it's like a left spin. That's kind of interesting. I guess like the LR thing, but it's like outside that stuff, who cares? And again, you're not even using the LR on this thing, because unlike with, Venom Diablos, which had kind of the erase base come with it, these were marketed as 2 separate bays, so there was no real LR mode change stuff going on. It was just, no, there are 2 separate bays, and that's kind of all there is to it. They have access to LR stuff, but they're not going to use it, so... yeah, this bay's just kind of an L. I don't know what else to say about it other than... it sucks, but I guess it looks decent. Number 3, who saw this one coming? Death Diabolos, yeah. Like I said, I think this is the obvious part, the 2 sparking ones on the bottom. So Death Diabolos, the chip, it's the same chip, but this one has a little bit of paint on it, so I guess that's like a little bit cooler. Death also has 1 defense, it's like the same deal as Abyss. Unique ring that just does nothing, and a reused single chassis, which is just whatever. Again, the layer is just whatever. Who cares? We then, of course, have the disc and frame for turn. Actually, it comes with a frame. That's nice, I guess. And merge dash, just again, should not be on here. So yeah, overall, this thing really isn't much better than Abyss. I mean, it has paint on the metal here, and it has a frame. But the real reason why I put it above Abyss is it actually does look cool. I think that Death Diabolos looks very cool, actually. Aesthetically, this is a very, very nice looking bay. I'm a big fan of it, actually, in that regard. Like, as a display piece, yeah, it looks great, but for anything else, whether it just be battles or kind of just the stuff I do, or kind of just overview, like, gimmicks and just talk about that kind of stuff and go in depth with the design of the bay, not just kind of the visual design, like color schemes and stuff, yeah, this bay sucks. It does nothing. It's like Abyss. Same LR problems, same every problem, really. It's just that this one happens to look a little bit cooler, and that's the only reason I'm putting it here. Number 2, this one might actually be a bit more controversial, I'm not sure, but Master Diabolos. Let me explain here. Diablos 2 chip, it's nice, it's a decent chip, it's LR, that's pretty cool. The Master base, this base, okay. So it's kind of one of those, it's a weird base, because it has its own little metal piece that you have to like flip around and stuff, depending on which mode you have it in. So basically, this is the right spin mode, this is the left spin side, you could put the chip on either side, you put the weight on before the chip, that's how it changes modes. So, it's like half used with like the weight, and you have like metal on the base, but then it has its own like custom mini weight going on. It's a weird bay. But I like that. I like that it's unique. I like that it's doing different stuff. So the layer itself, I don't know. I might say it's slightly better than Venom, a little bit, but again, it's hard to say. Where this really falls off is Generate. I'm a big fan of the disc driver fusions that they've done in Burst. I think all of them are interesting. Maybe Shot isn't the best, but outside of that, All Might, that was pretty cool. Obviously, Ignition Dash and Hybrid were great, but this one, it's like a Final Survive. or like an inverse reboot, whatever you want to call it. Starts off in like an attack pattern, then switches to a more stamina-oriented mode. Partway through the battle, I heard something else about like it gains more burst resistance when it switches, but like, who cares? Or maybe, I don't know, when it's launched, I think it's when it's launched it has more burst resistance, I've heard. When it's in attack mode, then it kind of goes away. I heard something like that, but again, it doesn't matter. You don't need something like that with a disc driver fusion. You could have just done that with a regular driver. And again, this just didn't need to be a disc driver fusion. Now make it more interesting. And I think what makes me really upset about it is like, okay, you take Diabolos, right? Venom Diabolos had the bullet driver. You decide to give it a disc driver fusion in its evolution. What possessed them? What the hell possessed them to not make a bullet disc driver fusion where the shell of this driver would actually have a decent impact on battle, unlike bullet? They could have done that. They could have made something actually work a bit better, closer to something like Phantom Fox. And they just chose not to, and it's like, how? How do you get this opportunity and just waste it on this really stupid part? I think as a Bay, you could honestly argue 1 and 2 in terms of placement. I still like number 1 a bit more, but you could argue it. But I think that decision alone just makes me like, nah, I have to put this one number 2. It just annoys me too much to not. Like, it was just such a bad idea on their part. It was brain dead entirely. Like, how do you get that like option and opportunity and just waste it? I don't know. And for something that just didn't even really matter. Again, this is just something you could have done on any other driver. Like, I don't know. Give this to like Apocalypse or something instead, if you want to go that route. You know, to give that its own unique driver. Give that concept to Apocalypse, to not let it reuse Ultimate Reboot, and then give it its own unique thing that's still kind of like that, but not. Although I guess it's more of a balance thing, not really attack. But then again, Final Survive came out, I'll Drago Destroy, which wasn't a tactic. You could go in circles with this argument, but regardless, I think it just should have had a better driver for sure. Number 1, easily in my opinion, Venom Diabolos. Also, it has Erase. There's that. Here you go. That's the extra base it has. So basically, Venom Diabolos. It was the only GT Bay to have a fully unique weight. Obviously, this is like a chip weight fusion. Did I say fully unique weight? I meant fully unique chip. If I said weight, my bad. I don't know what I said actually, but anyway. Diabolos 1 was one of a kind. It was the only chip to be like this. That gives it some extra points. Now, Venom and Erase are not very cool, but they're just very basic balance bases. But of course, Venom's right spin, Erase is left spin. So you have a little bit of something there, I guess. It's it's LR. Well, Diabolos 1's LR. You have to choose your spin direction based on the base. I think Master does it way better, and I do like Master way more in that regard. But Diabolos 1's the better chip, and also has the better color scheme in my opinion. But again, I think the argument there, it's up in the air to which layer's better. Maybe not, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's very close. But part selection is where this thing Venom wins easily. Vanguard, it's not that crazy of a disc. I'm not gonna lie. Vanguard, it's just kind of there. It's fine. I don't have a problem with it, but it's not like crazy. But you have bullets. Yeah, this thing, of course, has the whole thing where during battle, this part will pop off. This should have been reinforced, I will say, but outside of that, this part, yeah, it spins independently. It's too small to really have an impact, but hey, it was a cool idea, and I gotta give them credit for at least making a cool concept for a driver. That was pretty nice, they did something. And I would have had no problems with Bullet as is if they expanded upon it. Again, with Master Diabolos, with Generate, with the Disc Driver Fusion slot that they wasted. You could have expanded upon this thing perfectly, and they just opted to not. But they at least made something like this, I guess. That was nice, but yeah. I don't know. It's kind of underwhelming, I feel like, to put this guy at number 1 and still complain about it, but I just feel like Master wasted its potential so badly. And it was, in my opinion, one of the biggest wastes of potential in Burst entirely. Potentially just in all of Beyblade, if we're being real here, but yeah. I think Venom was still a really good base, so I'm going to give it the number 1 spot. And Yeah, the Diabolos line, though, not my favorite, honestly. I think that it was just a lot of missed potential. Master wasn't bad, but again, it just didn't hit the mark, and then not Venom. Death and Abyss, those two, oh man, those were trash. They looked fine and all, but yeah, they messed up bad with those two. So anyway, with all that said, that's my Diabolos ranking. Let me know what you think. I feel like it's pretty clear cut that the Sparking ones are the worst ones, the GT ones are the better ones. The order from there on out, yeah, you could just say whatever. I feel like it's just whichever one you prefer between the two, which is fair. Although, if you're putting the Sparking ones above the GT ones, what are you doing? Unless you're just talking about aesthetics. If you like Death Diablos the most aesthetically, I'd actually agree with you, but this isn't an aesthetic-only tier list, so... or ranking, whatever you want to call it. So, anyway. Also, this is the final Beyblade Burst tier list to focus on one motif. Not the final one, though. I will be having a video next month in January where I go through all of the motifs that only have 2 or 3 bays in the evolution line. That video is going to suck to make. And also title. I don't know. I just don't know if I'm going to title that video, but it'll be a cool video at least once it's done and everything's all good with that. Should be interesting, I hope. It's just going to be like a gauntlet of like, I think like 20, 30 motifs. That's going to be something. So yeah, anyway. Well, things like, Hyperion, Helios, Lucifer, Belial, some other ones, Odin, things like that. So it'll be an interesting video. That'll be the final Beyblade Burst ranking video I'm going to be doing, though. Because I've kind of run out of stuff at this point, and this is the plan from the start, though, so I wasn't like trying to force it. So it's just kind of the natural conclusion of things, and that's really all there is to it. So yeah, anyway, see you next month for the finale of this weird mini-series that's also done really well on my channel from time to time. I don't know why, but anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.